More practice with making inferences. An inference means that you use clues to guess what the author does not tell you. So you take what the book says and what your brain says to figure out the clues and what the author doesn't say. Now, what your brain says is your schema or your background knowledge. That's the things that you already know. There's so much information that you already have in your brain to help you figure out a lot of the different things that are in stories. We're going to go through 3 main areas that we can infer in stories. The first one is the setting. The setting is when or where the story takes place. A lot of times the author doesn't tell us the setting, but we have to figure it out by inferring. So let's practice that. Logan put some apples into the cart and went to stand in line until it was his turn. If we look at this, what do you think the setting is? Where is Logan? Remember, when we make an inference, we use clues from the book and our brain. So if we look at the book, it talks about apples and putting them into a cart and then having to stand in a line and wait your turn. And then I can think about my schema or what's in my brain, knowing, oh, when I have to do a cart and stand in a line, that's at the grocery store. And so I can figure out, oh, Logan must be at a grocery store. Let's take a look at the next one. Olivia looked at the floor at her hair. All done. Do you like it? A lady said. Olivia looked in the mirror and smiled. Where is Olivia? Use the clues from the book and clues in your brain to see if you can figure out the setting. Did you say barbershop or hair salon? Leo helps his uncle milk the cows and feed the chickens each morning. Where is Leo? If we look at clues from the book and what we already know in our brain, maybe we decided that he's at a farm. Let's now move to another way we can infer, and that's with our characters. We can decide what our characters are like or what they're feeling. So let's practice. Time for bed, Mom said. Ugh, Bo said as he dragged his feet up the stairs and started brushing his teeth. How does Bo feel? If I look at this and I look for clues in the book, I see that Mom says time for bed, and I see that Bo said, ugh, and he dragged his feet, so he's not going up quickly. So I also know that kids a lot of times aren't always excited for bed. So if I use my schema, I can guess that he's feeling annoyed or frustrated or sad and doesn't want to go to bed. Now you try one. As his teacher passed back the math tests, Akshay looked at his and whispered, "Yes!" How does Akshay feel? If you look at the clues from the book and in your brain, did you determine he's feeling pretty happy, that he probably did really well on his test? Let's look at another one. Scarlett smiles and laughs while watching a movie on her couch. What did Scarlett think of the movie? I bet you inferred that she liked it or she thought it was funny, because if you're laughing and smiling at a movie, then you probably are enjoying it. Let's look at another area where we can infer in stories, and that is with events or what's happening in the story. Evie fell again. She rubbed her knees and wobbled as she stood up. Her friend glided right past her and then spun. Why was this so hard for Evie? What is Evie doing? If I look at the clues here, it says she rubbed her knees and she wobbled as she stood up, and her friend glided past her and then spun. So I'm wondering if maybe she's ice skating, because I've ice skated before and I know people can glide on the ice and they can spin, and so I might infer that Evie is ice skating. Let's have you do this one. Lincoln looked out the window. "Are we there yet?" he asked. "Only 30 more minutes. Grandma is going to be so excited," Mom said. What is Lincoln doing? If you put the clues together, did you decide that he was driving to go see his grandma? Let's do one more practice. Emerson was laying in her bed when she saw a flash of light and then heard a big boom. What is happening? Maybe you said it was starting to storm. Now, maybe you and I didn't always infer the same thing. Maybe you looked at the clues and you looked at your brain and you thought of something else. And you could be right. But as we read, it's really important to infer. And remember, we do that by noticing what's in the book, what's in my brain, and putting those two things together to figure out the clues to know more about what is happening in our stories.